right, y'all, welcome back. Today I want to talk about this defense right here, man. Folks are calling it the Tim Banks prevent defense. I've seen some folks call it the Tim Banks special. And they're saying this is why we're giving up so many third and longs, man. We got all of our secondary players pretty much playing at the sticks, like 10 yards off the wide receivers. They're saying that we can't set a good, strong edge in this defense. We can't float to the football well. The middle of the field is going to be wide open. I'm hearing that this is the only defense, Coach Banks is the only defensive coordinator that's calling this defense. But this is not a prevent defense, y'all. This is called double mugs, right? So you're going to have two linebackers inside of this A-gap, and you typically only want to run this versus like a third and long, which is why you will most of the time, I'd say like over 90% of the time, you're going to see all of the secondary players playing right at the sticks. And like we said, some people think that no one else runs this. So let me show y'all this, okay? And if you're watching this on your phone, it might not show up well, but I'm going to show you how this looks in a little bit of a different version, not just with this graph. But if you're watching it on TV, this should show up great for you. But either way, all right, Alabama has run this double mugs defense more than anybody else in the entire SEC. They've run it 38 times. Mississippi State's run it the least, only 7 times, but they have run it 7 times. Tennessee is right here in the middle. So let me show it to y'all a different way. And it's the same thing. Everything's ordered based off of who's run it the most to the least. You can see the number that they've run it inside of this column. This is versus the run and versus the pass. Tennessee's at number 9 right now. So there's 8 teams in the SEC that have run double mugs more than Tennessee. One of them is Oklahoma, who I think has the best defense in the entire country. But let me show it to y'all a little bit of a different way, because I think most of the time whenever we talk about double mugs, we're thinking about like pass coverage stuff, right? So let me show you how it looks versus the pass with the SEC. This is how many times it's been run by all these teams. Tennessee's now tied in 7th place with Texas and with Oklahoma. We've run double mugs versus the pass 11 times. So this is how many times we've run it versus the run and versus the pass. We've only run it versus the pass. Now, as a conference, the SEC's run it 172 times. Let me scroll this thing all the way down so that y'all can see everything. But we've only run it we have run it 172 times, which is a lot for one conference, right? So let's scroll it over and let's talk about how many first downs have been given up, because that is the main point. The whole point of that defense is just to stop teams from getting first downs. Only 33 conversions of all SEC teams. So some of those are going to be, penalties and things like that. I don't know how many for everybody, but we'll just call it 33. That's 19%. So the offense's success rate versus this defense is only 19%. Now let's come back up. Let's talk about Tennessee. So Tennessee, like we said, we've run this 11 times. We've given up 3 conversions. One of those was a penalty. All right. So versus Texas, who's run it the exact same amount of times. They're worse. Okay. They've given up 5 conversions. Oklahoma is exactly like Tennessee. They've given up 3. They might actually be worse, but I can tell you for sure that with all of Oklahoma's mug defenses, okay, that they've run so far this year, looks exactly how Tennessee runs it. And they have a great defense. So what's the difference in it, right? Let's go on ahead and jump inside of this film room and let's start to break down what this defense actually is and, why it's good and why really, honestly speaking, y'all, like these are brilliant calls from Coach Banks. So the first part of this, like we touched on, you're going to see a lot of pressure up front, and we'll talk about that on the end zone copy. But just looking at this wide copy, we don't know what this coverage is. All right, pre-snap, you have no idea. This could be man. This could be quarters, which means that they're playing deep. It could be cover 3. It could be cover 2. It could be cover 6. It could be anything. That's the point. You have no idea what it is, and you don't have a whole lot of time to get it figured out. So let's fast forward and let's break this play down. First and foremost, we do flip this to a cover 3. So everything that's in blue, that's the secondary players. It's interesting to note that J-Mac, so our star player, he's going to be playing curl to flat. So he has 2 zones that he's going to be playing. Everything that's in yellow, that's the linebackers. This is a Leo, but our Leo is a linebacker. So that's their areas. This is Andre Turntine. He's got this middle area. Now, things, could look like this with cover 3, but there's a lot of different things they could make it look a little bit different. That the zones, that there could be some bigger holes inside of these zones. But as far as what the issue is on this play, we have a huge opening here, and we just talked about it. So with Andre Turntine, it looked like he was supposed to have this middle zone, but he's not there. Not quite sure why, but we also know that Jeremiah Tillander, he was supposed to have underneath this area. He's not there. He's moving over to his left, okay, to the offense's right. And that's going to leave this wide open hole in the middle of the defense. So we can just tell from that side of it, obviously, it's not off the play call. It's off of the execution. Now, why you want to run the double mugs like we kind of started it off? You're going to be showing a 7-man pressure. Right now, the offense only has 6 blockers. Okay, so off the rip, Taylor Green knows that if all 7 come, one of these guys is his. That means he has to make one of those guys miss or it's got to be like a hot route that comes, so it changes a lot of things. But what's going to end up happening is Arkansas is going to shift their protection to the left. Obviously, we're going to drop off, and then this running back's going to come over to the right. So Taylor Green, he's naturally going to be looking to his right. So if they slide to the left, he has to be looking to his right for this guy to come unblocked if he was to come. So that's what he's looking at first. So you're taking his eyes away from the down the field stuff, making him have to look at the line of scrimmage. Every little split second counts whenever you're playing football. So let me get that on up out y'all's way. All right, so one of the things about Taylor Green is, and I've seen this just from studying film, I know that Coach Banks knew this, he likes to run to his right. So whenever he's scrambling, he likes to move to his right, or he's going to try to move to the field side. So that would be this side. But if he's moving to the field side, he's going to kind of like flip out. But trust me when I tell you, the coverage that we set up, the way that we set it up is ready for that. All right, so think about it, right? We had J-Mac playing curl to flats, which means that if Taylor Green comes out there, he can help stop the run. He's a better athlete. But anyway, that's going to be something for us to know moving forward. So the pressure's starting to get there. We're only bringing 4. We've got things covered up on this side. All right, Taylor Green sees that. But he also knows, hey, backside, I might have somebody open. And he might have known that while he was moving over. So Jeremiah Thielander, he flows with the quarterback. I'm not quite sure what he was trying to do. I guess he thought he was going to make the tackle if Taylor wanted to scramble. But that's not his job. His job was the area that we showed y'all previously. So now we have things wide open. We also talked about Andre Turntown. But I kind of feel like he was in the right spot, and I'm going to go back. I feel like he might have been where they wanted him to be just because, he's moving to his right. Taylor Green's moving to his right, and, this slowed him down some. So he slowed down because just in case this wide receiver maybe goes deep or something. I'm not sure on that. I can't tell you for sure. But that's the whole point of this, is that really nobody outside of the locker room can 100% tell you every single small detail. I can tell you the overseeing part, like from the 50-foot view part of this, but I can't tell you exactly where every player was supposed to be. I can tell you, though, that Jeremiah Thielander, he was wrong. I can tell you that for sure. So same exact look, right? Of course, we're still showing that double mugs. Now, this is a quarters coverage that we're going to run. The blue's the secondary. The yellow is our linebackers. So go ahead and let it roll, okay? And y'all can see that, boom, down the field, everything is covered up. So very well executed down the field. When things are well executed, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And now Taylor Green tries to scramble, and he has to throw it out of bounds. But let me show you why. This is the brilliance with Tim Banks. It's the type of stuff that he does. There is a lot of thought. There's a lot that goes into being a defensive coordinator, a ton, especially on this level. But this is Boo, obviously, right? He's highlighted for you. He's going to be bringing the pressure off the edge. We're still showing 7 people coming. They still only have 6 to block. Everything that's purple as far as these lines, it's just where people are rushing at. This gold one right here, that's going to be David Hobbs coming over on this stunt. So I think that this is Jackson Moy. He's trying to occupy here, then we're bringing it over there. So this is a very well-designed blitz in quarters coverage, all right? So now the pressure's getting there. Of course, they had to go unblocked versus defensive lineman versus one of the best edge rushers in the entire country, and he's going to, have an impact on Taylor Green. But Taylor Green's really fast. He's a 4.443 guy. And like we talked about earlier, he either wants to go to his right or to the field. Well, this is his right. This is the field. We know he's going there, so that's why Boo Carter's here. He's setting this edge because Boo Carter is also 4.443 guy. So he can run with Taylor Green, and he can force this incompletion. That's how much thought goes into being a defensive coordinator. It's not as simple as, playing Madden or something. Now, I'm actually kind of shocked that the people that play Madden didn't realize what that look was as far as double mugs and not just like a prevent defense. But just like my final thought on this show, Coach Banks frustrates me sometimes too, and I don't always understand what he's trying to do. But we have to understand that, man, he forgot more about football than I know, than, especially the people that are asking for him to get fired know combined. He knows what he's doing, okay? Like, he's not just out here doing stuff just to do it. And something else that I'll point out here briefly is there was a lot of talk about why are our cornerbacks and our secondary players playing this press coverage versus Georgia, because they're beating us down the field. Well, now that we have him backed off, it's all of a sudden some big problem. He can't win for losing. Like, there's a time and a place for everything. So I would just say have the patience. It's been a lot more about the lack of execution, and that could pick up at any point. I'm not saying that Tim Banks is always perfect. I mean, he's a human being. He's going to mess up sometimes. But for the most part, he's, put us in the right spots to be able to make the plays. We just haven't closed the way that we should. But that's just my 2 cents. Please share yours down in the comment section. And as always, y'all, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And we'll be talking to y'all later on. Thanks. Peace. Thanks for watching. And please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, because that keeps us growing inside of the YouTube algorithm. And if you did like this video, here's another one that you might also enjoy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.